Snow fell gently over the small Bavarian town of Garmisch-Partenkirchen, coating rooftops, pine trees, and cobblestone streets in quiet white. Christmas lights glowed warmly from shop windows, and church bells echoed softly through the cold evening air. To most people, the town looked like a postcard, peaceful, joyful, alive with holiday magic. But for Daniel Weber, Christmas had become the loneliest season of all. Daniel pulled his coat tighter as he stepped out of the kindergarten, his breath fogging in the icy air. With one hand he held the tiny mittened fingers of his 6-year-old daughter, Lena. With the other he carried her pink backpack decorated with cartoon stars. "Papa," Lena said softly, looking up at him with big brown eyes. "Will Mama come back for Christmas?" Daniel felt the familiar ache in his chest. He knelt down, brushing snow from her hat. "Mama is watching us from heaven, Schatz. She's always with us." Lena nodded, accepting the answer the way children do, without fully understanding, but trusting anyway. It had been 3 years since Daniel's wife, Hannah, died in a car accident on a winter road not far from town. 3 years since his world shattered. 3 years of learning how to be both father and mother, strength and softness, discipline and comfort. Before Hannah's death, Daniel had been an architect in Munich, ambitious, driven, always planning for the future. Afterward, he moved back to his hometown, took a simpler job designing local buildings, and focused solely on one thing, Lena. Love was no longer something he believed he deserved. A lonely Christmas. At home, the apartment smelled faintly of pine and cinnamon. Daniel had bought a small Christmas tree from the market. Nothing extravagant, just enough to make Lena smile. They decorated it together with old ornaments Hannah had loved. One ornament, a glass angel, made Daniel pause. Hannah's favorite. He quickly hung it high out of Lena's reach and turned away before his eyes betrayed him. That evening, Lena sat at the table coloring while Daniel prepared dinner. "Papa," she said suddenly, "Frau Becker says everyone should have someone on Christmas." Daniel froze. "Frau Becker talks too much," he said gently. "But she said you shouldn't be alone," Lena continued. "She said maybe Santa will send you a friend." Daniel smiled sadly. "Santa is very busy, mein Engel." Lena grinned. "Then maybe he'll surprise you." Daniel didn't know how true those words would become. The trick. 2 days before Christmas, Daniel received a call from Clara, his older sister. "Daniel," she said cheerfully, "I need a favor." He sighed. "That's never a good start." "I have an extra ticket to the Christmas Eve dinner at the old guest house near the lake. I can't go." "You should take it." "I don't do dinners," Daniel replied instantly. "Especially not on Christmas Eve."
"Daniel," Clara said firmly, "you can't hide forever."
"I'm not hiding." "You are," she insisted. From life. From happiness. Silence hung between them. "Just go," she added. "If you hate it, you can leave." Daniel hesitated. For Lena's sake, maybe he should try just once. "Fine," he said at last. "But I'm going alone." Clara smiled into the phone. Or so Daniel thought. The blind date. The guest house was warm and glowing, filled with laughter, candles, and soft Christmas music. Daniel felt wildly out of place as he stepped inside. His worn coat and tired eyes no match for the festive atmosphere. A waitress approached. "Table for 2?" Daniel frowned. "No, 1." She checked her list. "You're Daniel Weber, yes? Your guest is already here." Daniel's heart dropped. Before he could protest, he saw her. She stood near the window, looking out at the snow-covered lake. She wore a simple navy coat and had chestnut hair pulled into a loose bun. When she turned, her eyes met his, warm, kind, curious. She smiled. "Daniel?" she asked. "Yes," he said cautiously. "I'm Miriam." He realized then what his sister had done. A blind date, walls in silence. Dinner was awkward at first. Daniel answered politely but briefly. He kept emotional distance like a shield. "I'm sorry if this was unexpected," Miriam said gently. "Your sister told me you might be surprised." "That's one word for it," Daniel replied. She smiled, unfazed. "We don't have to pretend anything. We can just talk." Something about her calm presence softened him, just a little. Miriam was a children's grief counselor. working with families who had lost loved ones. When Daniel heard this, his fork paused mid-air. That must be difficult work, he said. It's meaningful, she replied. Children feel deeply. They just don't always have the words. Daniel swallowed hard. They spoke about small things, music, the town, Christmas traditions. Daniel found himself relaxing, laughing once or twice without realizing it. Then Miriam asked quietly, "Do you have children?" "Yes," Daniel said. "A daughter, Lena." Her eyes softened. "She must be wonderful." "She is," he said. "She's everything. The gift." As dinner ended, Miriam reached into her bag. "I know this might seem strange," she said, "but I brought something for you." Daniel stiffened. "You didn't have to." She placed a small wrapped box in front of him. "Open it." Inside was a hand-bound notebook. Daniel frowned. "What is this?" "It's called a memory journal," Miriam said softly. "Your sister told me about Hannah." Daniel's breath caught. "For children who've lost a parent," she continued. "It helps them keep memories alive, stories, letters, moments." Daniel's hands trembled as he opened the first page. Written in careful handwriting were the words, "For Lena, so she never forgets how deeply she is loved." Tears blurred his vision. "I lost my father when I was young," Miriam said quietly. "No one talked about him. I grew up afraid to remember. I don't want that for other children." Daniel covered his face. For the first time in 3 years, he cried, not silently, not alone, but openly. Miriam reached across the table and gently held his hand. "You're not failing," she whispered. "You're surviving, and that's brave." Christmas morning. The next morning, Lena tore open her gifts with excitement. When she found the notebook, Daniel explained what it was. "Can we write about Mama?" she asked. "Yes," he said, smiling through tears. "Every day if you want." Lena hugged him tightly. "Papa, Santa did send you a friend." Daniel laughed softly. Outside, snow continued to fall, but inside, something long frozen had begun to thaw. A new beginning. Later that evening, Daniel stood by the window, watching Lena sleep, the notebook resting on the nightstand. His phone buzzed. "Miriam, Merry Christmas, Daniel. I hope today was gentle to you." He typed back slowly. "Daniel, it was. Thank you. For everything." For the first time in years, Daniel didn't feel alone. Christmas hadn't healed all his wounds, but it reminded him that love can return, sometimes quietly, unexpectedly, and exactly when the heart is ready to feel again.